India's significant investment in Chinese-made shield machines was initially seen as a bold move to advance its infrastructure and tackle one of the country's biggest challenges, the construction of tunnels for roads, railways, and metro systems. However, this decision soon turned into a costly lesson in overconfidence and technical limitations. Despite India's attempt to bypass years of technological development by purchasing ready-made solutions, it quickly became apparent that the country was ill-prepared to manage such sophisticated machinery, leading to delays, frustration, and a public blame game. As we explore further, the complexities behind this failed venture shed light on the broader challenges that both India and China face in their race for technological leadership. India's decision to purchase 8 shield machines from China was driven by the urgent need to expand and modernize its infrastructure. The country has long struggled with inadequate infrastructure, a bottleneck to its economic growth. With a growing population, urbanization, and the increasing demand for modern transportation systems, India urgently needed to ramp up its construction projects. Shield machines, designed for digging tunnels, offered a solution, as they could speed up the process of tunnel boring and reduce the risks associated with traditional blasting methods. However, as the machines arrived in India, it became evident that the country was not equipped to handle them. These machines are no simple pieces of equipment, they are highly sophisticated, requiring precise assembly and operation. While China had offered assistance in setting up and operating the machines, India's sense of national pride and self-reliance led it to reject that help. The result was a prolonged delay as Indian engineers struggled to assemble the machines, and the project quickly fell behind schedule. What India failed to recognize was the technological gap between itself and China. Despite its growing technological prowess, India lacks the advanced industrial infrastructure and skilled workforce that China has developed over decades. China's success in manufacturing and building large-scale infrastructure projects is the result of years of strategic investment in education, technology, and industrial capabilities. The Chinese shield machine is a product of this long-term development, and while it is one of the best in the world, it is far from a simple product that can be deployed without considerable expertise. The shield machine itself is a marvel of modern engineering. These massive machines can be up to 90 meters long, with a diameter of over 12 meters and weighing up to 2,300 tons. The shield is designed to carve through rock or soil while simultaneously providing a protective barrier to prevent collapse. The machine functions like a tunnel that drills and shields the tunnel simultaneously, allowing for construction to proceed in even the most challenging environments. Over the years, China has developed some of the most advanced versions of these machines, and their effectiveness in tunneling has made them indispensable for large-scale infrastructure projects around the world. But the shield machine was not always a Chinese innovation. The concept was first developed in the UK and later refined by other countries like Japan and Germany. China's involvement in the development of shield machines began in the 1990s, after it encountered significant challenges in its own infrastructure projects. The country initially imported shield machines from Germany, learning from their technology and improving on it. By 2008, China had developed its own shield machine, marking a significant leap forward in its infrastructure capabilities. The country's experience with these machines, combined with its relentless pursuit of technological innovation, has made China a global leader in tunnel boring technology. The Chinese shield machines that India purchased were among the most advanced in the world. They were specifically designed to meet the needs of large-scale tunnel construction, and China had tailored these machines for use in India's specific terrain and conditions. The Indian government, eager to expedite its infrastructure projects, thought that purchasing ready-made solutions would be an easy fix to the country's growing challenges. However, this approach was flawed, as India overlooked the importance of skilled labor, technical expertise, and the long-term commitment required to maintain such complex equipment. The complications that followed the delivery of the machines were a direct result of this overconfidence. India initially refused China's offer to help assemble the machines, with officials insisting that their engineers could manage on their own. But when the machines arrived, it became apparent that the task was far more complex than anticipated. The Indian engineers struggled to assemble the machines, and months passed with little progress. Despite the mounting difficulties, India still refused to ask for assistance, instead blaming the quality of the machines rather than acknowledging the lack of expertise within the country. This situation highlights the gap between India's ambition and its current technological capabilities. While India has made tremendous strides in certain areas, such as information technology and space exploration, it has yet to develop the necessary infrastructure and skilled workforce to handle complex engineering projects like tunnel construction. The country's education system, despite recent reforms, still struggles to produce enough engineers and skilled workers to meet the growing demands of the infrastructure sector. This shortage of skilled labor, coupled with outdated industrial practices, has put India at a disadvantage in the race for technological advancement. Looking at China's development over the last century, it is clear that the country has undergone a remarkable transformation. From a period of economic stagnation and political turmoil, China has become a global leader in infrastructure, technology, and manufacturing. The country's progress can be attributed to its long-term strategy of investing in education, innovation, and industrial capacity. While China faced its own challenges, particularly in the early stages of its economic reform, it has managed to leapfrog many other nations by focusing on key areas such as infrastructure and manufacturing. India's path, on the other hand, has been more erratic. Despite being one of the world's fastest-growing economies, India faces numerous obstacles in its quest for technological advancement. The country's colonial legacy, combined with a lack of investment in education and industrial development, has left it playing catch-up in many areas. The current government, led by Prime Minister Modi, has ambitious plans to turn India into a developed nation within the next 25 years, but these goals are unlikely to be realized without significant structural reforms and investment in education and infrastructure. India's demographic advantage, however, could provide the country with a significant opportunity for growth. The median age of India's population is much lower than that of China, meaning that India has a young workforce that could drive innovation and economic growth for decades to come. Moreover, India is investing heavily in sectors such as renewable energy, with a focus on solar power. As the world shifts towards greener energy sources, India's abundant sunlight and water resources make it an ideal candidate to become a leader in renewable energy. Despite the challenges, India's future holds great potential. The country's youth, combined with its rich cultural heritage and emerging technological innovations, provide a solid foundation for growth. However, for India to truly compete with China on the global stage, it will need to overcome its current limitations in education, infrastructure, and industrial capacity. The rivalry between the two countries, while fierce, will ultimately drive both nations to continue innovating and striving for technological excellence. Looking ahead, India's journey to becoming a developed nation will be a long and difficult one. But if it can leverage its young population, harness the potential of its technological innovations, and invest in education and infrastructure, it may yet be able to compete with China in the coming decades. The race for global leadership in technology, infrastructure, and innovation is far from over, and India's role in this race will only continue to grow in importance.